What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today got to do an oil change on the Challenger. It's a little overdue. It's my bad, haven't had time to do it, but we're gonna do it today. But before we get to that, we got to move the Challenger out of the way because we got to get the street rod out, because I'm going to pull it in and we're going to do the oil change in there. First things first, to do the oil change, you got to pull the shaker cover off on the shaker equipped vehicles, and Mopar actually gives you the tool to do it. And it is magnetized, so you can't lose the bolt. And you notice they got that little Mopar thing on it. Okay, so with the shaker piece off, you can see that here is the access where you actually fill the oil. Well, to make it easier, I'm actually just going to take this off, and you can use the same tool to take off all these bolts. So as you can see with it off, you'll actually have a better access to fill it up as opposed to when you have it on, so you don't have to use a funnel. It'll be easier to get it in there. So what I like to do is I like to take the cap off right away. And I'm going to be draining the oil, so the other thing I like to do is pull that up so it's nice and high. It's a good indicator that it hasn't been filled. Once I fill it back up with oil and it's all good to go, then I'll push it all the way back down, and you'll know it's full. But leave it up like that. It's a bit bright orange, you can't miss it. If you go to put this back on, you're going to see that right away. So next, got to get the car jacked up. Alright, so before we go jacking up the car, put the jack stands underneath it. I have the car, my car's obviously rear wheel drive, which most of these Mopars are anyways, unless you have an all wheel drive one. But I have the emergency brake on, it is in gear, but I like to add a wheel chock to the back side, just to be on the safe side, because you never know. If you have two, use two on both sides, but usually one is all you need. Alright, so now that we got the car all jacked up, got a light under there, we got a pan ready to go. Need 10mm because we got to drop the belly pan. Alright, so we're going to drop the belly pan. And as you can see, I've discovered I have an oil leak. Let me see if I can get some light on that. See that right there? I got an oil leak. So we're going to have to figure out what that is while we're up in there and see what we're going to do about that. Some of you have asked about bottoming out with my car since I've lowered it. It has hit the skid plate a little bit, nothing major. It's just happened a couple of times, mostly pulling into my dad's driveway. But other than that, I haven't really had any problems, and there was a Home Depot that I had a problem with too. So, hopefully that'll answer your guys' question on that. But let's go ahead and remove this belly pan so we can get to where the oil pan, and I think the filter's under there as well. So let's get going on that. Hey, you want to grab this? Got it. Alright, so now I've got the pan off. You can see there's oil on the steering rack. The question is, where is this oil coming from? Let's move the light around, see if we can't find out. Oh, let's see. Oh, it looks like it's probably coming from the oil filter. Seeing how that's what's covered in oil, which would make sense. So hopefully this is going to rectify the issue. Fabulous. Now I paid to have the oil changed last time, so I'm guessing the filter isn't the greatest of filters in the world because I paid for it. So gotta get the filter off, get all this cleaned up, and then we can continue on. First we're gonna do we're gonna drain the pan. We're gonna drain the pan of oil first of all. So. Oh man, she's on there. Ow. This thing's on there. Well, unfortunately, the next couple clips I lost, so I'm going to have to give you the information of what transpired. I was just struggling with getting the oil pan drain plug bolt out, and I ended up having to get a really long ratchet and a socket to get that taken out of. Never should have been that tight. Got that taken out, started draining and whatnot, let it drain for a little bit, went back up under there while it was draining, and I grabbed a rag to start cleaning off and whatnot. I didn't want to grab a hold of, because I didn't have gloves on, I just bare hands. So I went to wipe off the oil filter, and lo and behold, that son of a bitch was as loose as they get without falling off all the way. There's no reason why that should have been that loose. It never should have worked itself that loose in the first place, which means it wasn't very tight when I had it done. Now, I did have it done at a shop last time because I was lazy. And I live in an apartment complex, and they kind of frown upon you doing that in their parking lot. So I paid to have it done, unfortunately, and I hate doing that when I could have just went down to my dad's and had it done like I did this time. So lesson learned. I try to do everything myself anyways on my cars because I don't like going to dealerships because they pretty much try to rip you off all the time as well. And not all shops and dealerships are bad, but unfortunately we only hear about the bad ones, and this is one of those instances where this shop, it was an independent shop. It wasn't a Jiffy Lube, it wasn't a Walmart or anything like that, but this is one of those instances where you're going to hear about it being bad experience. I'm not going to call them out by name because that's just not what I'm going to do. I'm just not going to give them my money anymore. Find somebody else, or I'll just wait until I have to go down to my dad's and do things. So, so that's the moral of that story. What I took off was in case you're wondering, I took off a pure later filter, which I'm not a fan of pure later filters, and I replaced it with one of my favorites, a Wix filter. You use the filter you like, but that's what I ended up using. So let's go ahead and get back to the video and finish things up. All right, I got the belly pan on. I got the car back down on all fours. Next, got to add some oil. My father's being persistent and telling me I need to use the funnel because he doesn't want me draining anything down onto the side of the block or anything.
Just the way I am.
He doesn't like to live life, I guess. Anyways, so...
You get this old by being stupid.
So, what I'm using is Mobile One. It's an extended performance, 15,000 mile. I don't go 15,000 miles, but I am using the recommended weight of 5W20. I got a 5-quart thing here, and I got 2 more in there. It should take about 6 quarts, I believe, but we're going to put this in, measure it. Probably won't be touching the dipstick, which we left up so we know to make sure we check and put oil in. So let's get going on that. Alright, so I just started the car, let it run for a second, checked it again, and it does need some more oil. I'm going to put a half quart in and see where it stands. So this will make 6.5 quarts. Needs to go up a little more. So 3/4 of a quart. We're going to put the rest of that quart in, so 7 quarts. So a total of 7 quarts. Hope it doesn't need any more because I did not buy more than 7 quarts. Everything was saying about 6.5. So what I'm going to assume is the 6.5 I was reading was not with the filter. And 7 quarts does it. Let me see if I can get a good shot of that. I don't know if you can see it. But it's right between, almost to that top hash mark. It's right here, right where my finger is, by the E. But can't see that, but yeah, I'll take my word for it. Next, I'm going to put the shaker piece back on. But before I do that, I'm going to wipe this stuff down because this is a good time to wipe all this down because you can't normally get to it. So I'm just going to take a rag and wipe it all down, get some of the dirt off of it before I put the shaker piece back on. Lastly, got to make sure shaker is lined up because it is adjustable. Yeah. Yep, it is. Alright, so that concludes this portion of the video. Next, I'm going to take the air filter out, blow that out because it's got some leaves and stuff in it. And today, we got a hole in the tire. Well, there's something plugging it, so we're going to pull that out, plug it, got a patch kit, we're going to do that too. Alright, down to the last job of the day. Got a screw in here. This is what I was talking about. As you can tell, it's ground down, so it's obviously been in there a little bit. I was going to put a flathead screwdriver on it and pull it out, but it's ground down too much. So now, this is something you guys can do at home. All you need, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out, and if it starts leaking, which I don't know if it is, it's probably going to, depending on how long the screw is, but more than likely it's going to leak. Picked up a kit from O'Reilly's for like $6, and we're going to go ahead and plug it. There are other tools out there that have a T-handle, which are actually easier to use. I recommend you find those, but unfortunately this is all that O'Reilly's had at this time, so this is what we're going to use. You have an awl right here, and let me see if I get it in the light so you can see it better. What that does is that helps ream out the hole to a certain size. It's got like a raspy type thing on the sides here. So when you pull this out, you're going to stick this in here and go in and out with it to kind of ream it out and get it nice and smooth and stuff to prepare it for the plug that's going to go inside here, and then this will go right in here. So, but in order to get this out, trusty vice grips. So let's get going on now. It's not going through.
No, it didn't go through.
It was only in the lug.
Yeah.
It barely went in. Well, we got lucky. It was a small one. It barely went in. There's a little bit of a hole there. It's not going all the way through, though. I'm not going to worry about it. That didn't puncture it. There's no air coming out. It's not even deep enough for air to come out anyways, but kind of wish it did, because then I could show you how to do it yourself at home, so you don't have to go to a store and do it. But just to make sure, as you can see, nothing's bubbling. If there was air coming out, that'd be bubbling, so we're good. Oh yeah, that was an easy fix. I'll take those fixes all day long, which is good because it's hot out here in Houston, and this fan only does so much. I think it's time to get wrapped up and hit the pool. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate you guys watching, and stick around. Got some more Dodge Dilemma stuff coming, and we also have a, what's the other car? The new car?
1957 Ford Fairlane with a retractable hardtop.
Yep. It's got the retractable hardtop. The mounts and stuff, I guess, are kind of messed up on it. Some people have tried to repair it in the past, and he's taking a break from the Dodge Dilemma, 38 Dodge, and he's going to be working on that to get that all fixed up. So that episode will be out shortly. So, thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me over on Instagram, Facebook, all that blah 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 blah. Links for that will be down in the description below. And you guys have a wonderful day.